Morning everyone. I should be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed after my first night on CPAP. However, things didn't quite go according to plan. I headed up to bed at about 10:30 last night. Andrew helped me get my mask on. We did the mask fit test where it ramps the pressure up to 10, which is fairly interesting when you stop to go from 10 to nothing like that. It's takes a bit of getting used to, but that was fine. I got my mask fitting fine, and then the pressure goes down to 4, and that's called settling pressure, and you set it for anything between 5 and 30 minutes for how long you expect it to take you to drop off to sleep. They reckon 20 minutes is about average, and that's what it was set on. So I clicked for that, switched it on, and could not get to sleep. I could hear the machine. It's not loud, it's really not loud. Andrew managed to sleep through it, but I could hear it. And also after a while, as my throat began to dry out because I mouth breathe, hence needed the mouth and nose mask, I began to feel, because my apneas, hypopneas begin to happen before I'm actually fully asleep, and I began to feel something happening when those were happening, and it was kind of a pop sensation. It was like the breathing would stop and there'd be a pop, and that was a little bit unpleasant, and I couldn't get to sleep. The first 20 minutes were gone, so I reset it back to start for another 20 minutes. I was still awake. I did 30 minutes. I was still awake. I did another 30 minutes. And at that point I decided it was 12:30. I had had enough. I didn't need to be messing around with this anymore. I'd done well. I'd done an hour and 40 minutes on the machine, and it was time to try and get some sleep without it, which I managed to do. I was waking up more than I usually would, but or at least aware of waking up more than I usually would be. And at 3:30 I decided I would give the mask another go. So I put it on, I set it to setting, and half an hour to get to sleep. After half an hour I was still wide awake, and this time very, very aware of every one of these sensations happening, and my throat was much drier than it was the first time, and a bit of a concern, because part of my sleep apnea problem is I have huge tonsils which they're looking at pulling out. I see the ENT in a couple of weeks' time. They're looking at pulling those out, so I could feel it all happening in my throat, and so I switched the machine off again. But that still means I did over 2 hours during the night, and for a first night that's not bad. How do I feel afterwards? Pretty awful actually, because after that I couldn't get back to sleep even without the mask, because my throat was now so dry that even without the mask I could feel the apneas, hypopneas beginning to happen in here. I could feel things closing down and then opening up when my brain would go, "Hey, wake up!" So it was extremely unpleasant to have that happening even without the mask. But I guess that's what I've been experiencing every night without being aware of it for possibly years, which was quite upsetting. And so I got up, I sat on the chair by the side of the bed with a torch and my puzzle book, but I couldn't keep my eyes open. I was tired, I couldn't keep my eyes open long enough to do the puzzle, but I couldn't get to sleep either. So just after 5, when Andrew got up, I got up as well. I came downstairs, I went on the computer for a bit, I made myself a hot drink. I had a fruit and spice cordial, and then headed back to bed. And because I'd moistened my throat properly, I managed to get back to sleep without the mask, admittedly, but I managed to get back to sleep and got another couple of hours before the postman woke me up. Thank you, Mr. Postman. So that was my first night on CPAP. Not as good as I'd hoped, but not as bad as it could have been. So I'm feeling okay about that. A little disappointed that it didn't go better, but I'm feeling okay. And today I'm going to head out, so I'm going to try and find a steam cup. And it's a little plastic cup, and it looks like a kid's beaker. Only rather than a sippy top on it, it has sort of a little mini face mask on it to cover your nose and mouth. Sort of a mini version of what I wear at night, sitting on top of the plastic cup, and you fill the cup with very hot water and you breathe the steam in. And so I'm going to get one of those and do that at night before I go to bed, and possibly even get a travel kettle as well for our bedroom, so that I can make more hot water for it in the night if I need to, in the middle of the night, and use it in the middle of the night as well for 5 minutes at a time. Then that's my day. That's what I've got to do today. That, and buy the mini tripod for the video camera, so I can give you a proper look at my kit with the better camera. Okay, thank you all for listening to CPAP Diaries, and I hope you'll be back for more.